Rachel Scott, ABC News, talking about what's really going to be one of the stories of today, sort of behind the scenes. Good morning, New Hampshire, the pulse of an H. Jack Heath, J-Dog on the boards. Of course, we're streaming on our YouTube channel 9 to 10 as part of our 9 to noon show. Hope you're having a good start to your Tuesday. J-Dog on the boards. President Zelensky, Ukraine, is going to be talking behind the scenes, trying to really ask senators to increase or send, approve that additional funding in his war against Vladimir Putin. And then, of course, in Israel, we're going to get more this morning, the latest on the war between Israel and Hamas, as now Israel ground forces are focusing on the second largest city in Gaza, an area known to have more of the Hamas terrorists, and Israel continuing to target the further elimination of those after the October 7th attack on Israelis. And also this morning, I guess you heard, Harvard University and some of the college presidents are going to be down in Washington talking about anti-Semitism on campus, something that still amazes me. It's interesting. Yesterday, I posted and talked on the show. Actually, I talked on the show, then posted how at Princeton University, back during the onset of World War II at Princeton University, the freshman class in a poll or a vote actually voted Adolf Hitler, leader of the Nazis, the greatest person or human being on earth, followed by Albert Einstein and Neville Chamberlain, the British prime minister who failed in his appeasement attempts to appease Hitler to no avail. And, it's interesting because some of the reaction was, well, the students really didn't know. They didn't really know what Hitler was up to. Well, it's up to us to know history and facts, current events as well. And it's up to people in this country to know more about Hamas and the terrorist organization. And as one member of Congress, representative, one of the so-called squad members, I call them regressive Democrats, not progressive, when she said we have to balance our criticisms of Israel and Hamas. No, we don't need to balance those two. They're two different entities. One is a country that's a democracy and our only ally in the Middle East, and their number one reason for existence is not to obliterate anyone. And Hamas is a terrorist organization. Their number one covenant for existence is to obliterate and destroy Israel. So one's a terrorist organization, one's not. I mean, I just can't. It's analogous to some of the ignorance we saw in this country when Hitler was on his march. So here we go again. But some of the news talk of the day as we get going. I got a packed show for you this morning on this Tuesday morning. Not a bad day out there, J-Dog. It's sort of cleared out a little bit, and we do have some sun coming in, and not a bad looking week, actually, as we get towards the whole week and into December. Taco Tuesday. That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's a good, that's a good thing to think about, Taco Tuesday. And also 49 days, is it, J-Dog, to go before the New Hampshire First Nation presidential primary? Yeah, and Neil Levesque, one of our political analysts and all-stars, executive director, Institute of Politics, St. Anselm College, joining us. Good morning, New Hampshire, the pulse of an age, Neil. And it seems one of the stories going into today is sort of behind-the-scenes pressure on more Republican presidential candidates after Doug Burgum of North Dakota dropped out yesterday morning to kind of drop out to thin this field, presumably to maybe favor one of the candidates who has some momentum. Take it away, Neil. Right. I want to come back to the debate, Neil Levesque, St. Anselm Institute of Politics. Let's talk about the Chris Christie and some others. Staying in it in the long haul is different than staying in it through New Hampshire, because you have the caucus in Iowa, the caucus process, and then right after that, Tuesday, January 23rd, New Hampshire's first in the nation presidential primary. 49 days to go. Chris Christie yesterday announced a couple of co-chairs here. Someone you know well, former Congressman Charlie Bass, I believe. I don't think he's going to drop out between now and New Hampshire. I mean, it's basically just over a month. Now, after that, who knows, right? Yeah. Yep. The next debate. Give us some Neil Beck thoughts. What to look for, and is it gonna move the needle? Take it away, Neil. It's hold on. It's like Thursday Night Football, Amazon Prime. Good luck finding it. Right? Go ahead, Neil. Or the Bruins when they bury him on some pay for ESPN channel like ESPN 5, and I'm like, why can't I watch the Bruins Flyers? Take it away. 49, I think. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you lose a 10 days. Well, that's why. Let's come back to the calendar. Governor Chris Sununu. I would think that the window is getting very tight and near, where if he's going to jump in and make an endorsement and try and make some ripples or waves in the lake as it pertains to a Trump lead, it's any day now. I thought it might be today. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's pretty quiet. I think it could be Thursday morning if Haley has a good debate, but I'm not sure. That window is tightening to have an impact. Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, it's all about the independents, I think. I think it's all about independence. If he targets and goes after independents, campaigns with her for 3 or 4 solid weeks, and she has a pack, I think, targeting independents for her, then it maybe moves it some, but we'll see. Hey, Neil, before we let you go, you mentioned early Christmas presents. I don't know. Did you get the one that we sent over here from Good Morning New Hampshire, the Pulse of Nature, that shaker bench for your renovated mudroom? Did you get that? Well, you don't have to put it together because the shakers always made things very solid. It's for that mudroom that took you 1 month to finish. How does it take a month to do a mudroom? You know what? You'll figure it out. All right. Thank you. You know what you could do? Take her out tuna fishing next summer and actually don't just mark tuna, actually catch one. I don't think she wants to go. All right. Thank you, Neil. How about some Sound of Music at the Portsmouth Music Hall? There you go. All right, we are going to move to a break. John Decker, our own White House correspondent, talking more about that sort of a delicate, challenging sale to America's lawmakers for more funding for the Ukraine because the situation between Israel and Hamas is sort of taken front and center stage. John Decker, our own White House correspondent, coming up next. Good morning, New Hampshire, powered by GMI Asphalt and Paving. There, call Christine at the company at text PAVE, PAVE to 78,000 now. Tenny Mountain, right in the heart and center of New Hampshire. We'll hear more from them in the next few weeks. They're the official ski area of Good Morning New Hampshire. Jack Heath here, J Dog on the boards, the Pulse of NH, right near, less than 10 minutes from Plymouth State University. Tenny Mountain fully reopening before the Christmas, New Year's week for the season. Tenny Mountain, the official ski area of Good Morning New Hampshire, the Pulse of NH. And in the new year, we don't want to rush it. We got a lot of big stuff coming up. We're going to tell you about another big town hall live show at the Capitol Center for the Arts, Bank of New Hampshire stage, and also a great new partnership with a great New Hampshire manufacturer, Sig Sauer. Good morning, New Hampshire, the Pulse of Night. Jack Heath, J Dog on the boards. Back in a moment. All right, welcome back on this Tuesday. We'll have more of some of our political analysts and experts talking about, is there more pressure on some of the candidates in the Republican primary race here to drop out after Doug Burgum did yesterday from North Dakota? We'll see. Big debate tomorrow night. We'll have more on that. But John Decker, our own White House correspondent, joining us. Kind of a different kind of sell or appeal from the leader of the Ukraine, President Zelensky, to American lawmakers, senators, John, because not that the war has decreased in importance to the world or Americans here, I believe, but it's also just so much with the Israel-Hamas war and other factors now. It's a different kind of sell, if you will, to keep the American support, at least among some senators, alive and well when it comes to supporting the efforts in the war in Ukraine. And John, do you agree with me or not? But, from a media political point of view or media coverage point of view, maybe other than Great Britain per capita, I think the United States is one of the shortest attention spans of most modern countries in this day and age. In other words, is if something's out of sight for a while, it's out of mind. And so much, as I said before, so much focus on the Middle East for understandable reasons. It doesn't mean that the concern's any less there and what Putin's ambitions are, or the impact on the world this winter when it comes to energy or the food basket to parts of the world with the war in Ukraine, or the ultimate outcome there. Nothing's changed in terms of the importance, and with NATO concerns, you name it. But the point is, out of sight, out of mind, because of other news, and sometimes that affects lawmakers. Right. And John, you mentioned former Representative Santos. I don't know about you, but I don't think I'm watching whatever he's selling on the video channel. I don't know what that's all about. I mean, what? Yeah, everyone does. But when I heard that, I mean, I'm like, dude, do you think people are going to flock to this? Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. You know what? It's a crazy world. John Decker, on White House correspondent. Thank you, John. All right. All right. Coming up, we have some of our regular great contributors: Brad Card, Anna Brown, Citizens Count. J Dog, I guess last night I honestly didn't watch it. I was kind of footballed out from the weekend, but ended up being a pretty good game. Bengals, Jaguars. Yeah. Yeah. We will see. All right. Bruins next at it. I guess we're going to have that Buffalo Sabres Thursday night on the poll. Can you explain what the in-season tournament is? It's a gimmick. Hey, by the way, some good news. We're going to be joined, I believe, in the 11:20 slot. Tanya Frost from the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire. Tell me about that's coming up this weekend, and you played a big role in that. Sources tell me you are going all out and may wear a tux. Is it really? Wow. How many years have you been doing it? I heard you're going to suit up though. You're gonna be dapper J Dog. Well, you've been doing it a long time, and I think it's great you do that. And I think it's wonderful because a lot of people, you're a great sport doing the show with me. I know it's not always easy. No, I'm kidding. It's very easy. But no, we have some fun, but it gets pretty serious, rock and roll, some pretty serious stuff. But um, people don't know this about you, but last weekend you were out and about supporting a holiday downtown in the capital. You do the Boys and Girls Club, the Gail Singer stuff in the past, and always our efforts when it comes to caring and sharing. That was such a. I know it's a whirlwind because we went from that to our Veterans Town Hall, but that caring and sharing effort really opened my eyes. 26 charities and food pantries in the market, and we were able to raise so much awareness and funding for them. And I'm thinking right now, tonight, we may not know, but a family from Somersworth Tuesday night might be going to that. Trying to think of the name, community something, the food pantry there to have dinner because they can't afford to go grocery shop and get a family. And what we learned from that is it's bigger families with a bunch of kids, which makes sense because that's more cost. And then seniors who are on fixed income will go and need these meals at these 26 area food pantries, especially people on fixed income. And inflation's still high. Uh, and then the food pantries, some of these will give the people who go not only a warm, nice meal that evening, like tonight, or tomorrow night or Thursday, but as many as 15 warm or 15 meals to heat up to go. So that family, that mom and dad, the couple that's on fixed income and the Social Security, that one-time check goes quickly in this day and age, can get several meals for several days. And it really blew my mind, the demand and the need. And we were able to kind of do 12 hours for 2 days to support that. And it's that kind of stuff. And then you move on to the next one, right? Yeah. You don't sit and dwell on it. You gotta go to the next one. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because each dollar, what they say, I thought it was like 10 or 20. It was much more than that because they have huge discounts as a nonprofit. They can go to the bigger wholesalers and, for $5, they can get like $50 worth of food. And yeah, it does a lot. All right. So Boys and Girls Club coming up in the next hour. What'd you say? 50th annual. 11:20. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Good morning, New Hampshire, the Pulse of an H. We'll be back. A little preview to that the next presidential debate, of course, without a big name in the room. Back on the Pulse of an H in a moment. All right. Crazy story out of Arlington, Virginia, where the police were called to a home for some shots fired. It was a report of a flare gun. And then when they were going to execute a search, it home exploded. Wow. I don't know if it was natural gas or whether the suspect had some, but who knows? So that's breaking nationally. All right. A debate tomorrow night and pressure on Chris Christie to kind of thin the field further after North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum yesterday morning. We had it for you fairly instantly on the show or by site for the show. Dropping out, the North Dakota governor. That means the field is thinning and changing. Now, tomorrow night, there is no Donald Trump in the next debate. He hasn't done any of these debates, and it hasn't affected or hurt him in the polls thus far. One of our political analysts and all-stars to break it down, what to expect, and the pressure to thin that field, as they say. Brad Card and Associates. Brad, good Tuesday morning. Good, thanks. Well, in the other one, because you know what? It's getting the calendar, Brad. What, J-Dog, 49 days from today to the New Hampshire's first in the nation presidential primary. Not a lot of time to influence this field. Still no word from Governor Sununu on a likely or possible endorsement, presumably of Nikki Haley, if you look at the poll momentum. Maybe that could come after the debate, but preview the debate and what's happening with the dynamics in this race. Yeah. Right. Brad, let me ask you this. It was a calculated decision on behalf of Donald Trump, who was out early running. People like Ron DeSantis and everyone in this field knew that Trump was going again, to not do any of these debates, feeling like he didn't have to do these debates. He had the lead. And some would say, though, that would hurt him, that if you don't debate, but I don't know if it's hurt him. Look at his numbers. I know it's had yeah. Do you think well, let me ask you this. Do you think I'm getting a feeling, and I may be wrong because I look at the record Ron DeSantis has had in Florida, and I look at his reelection record. The only red wave I really saw in the last big election was out of Florida in the midterms. So my point is, DeSantis came on the scene. I asked him on this show. You knew, knowing Trump was going to run, why didn't you wait? You're younger. I don't think he's 40, not even 44, 45 years old yet, right? Is that right? Okay, so young family, why not wait till 2028, governor? You're governor of a big state, you got reelected, national name. Why not wait? He felt at the time, he said, we don't have any mulligans on this one. It was his answer to me in the studio when he was in here with governor. So we don't have any mulligans to miss because the country. No, but here's my point, though. Here's my point. I think some of the reluctance in the beginning, because you remember how hard Trump hammered DeSantis in the early stages when Trump got into this thing. He hammered Ron DeSantis every day, more than anyone else, right? And probably had its mark, probably did some damage. DeSantis hasn't fully engaged. He's taking his shots, but not fully engaged. And I think it's because he's looking downstream, Brad. I may be wrong. But do you notice? Do you notice though that Chris Christie? I'm sorry, but I just want to say this because even Nikki Haley has been accused of really not going after Trump. She'll say that it's time for new leadership. He's too old. Let's do an age test, implying that we need someone new. Supported his policies then, but not now, or him, going forward. But Chris Christie's big mantle was going to be he's the one who could punch Trump. He's the one who could punch Trump, right? I don't know if anyone can, Brad. I think you could, but a lot of people seem reluctant to do it because, Brad, you and I know if you watch the Netflix documentary on Donald Trump when he was younger, and I forget the name of that New York developer lawyer who wasn't such a great guy because Trump's relationship with his father seemed a little bit estranged. But the point when Trump was young and he's doing his first development in New York City, he hasn't changed at all. This mentor of his, is it Cohn? I don't know what his name was. He basically taught Trump, you get hit once. Yeah. No, he was an attorney, but he hung around the whole development scene, the real estate scene in New York. He was a lawyer, but right. Not as I said, not a really good guy. But Trump was taught, he learned you get hit once, you hit back 3 times as hard. He's been doing that. He's been fighting everyone for decades. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. No, yeah, I know where you're going with this because a lot of people are. Yeah. Yep. Yep. But and I'm not disagreeing with anything, but you know what, Brad? I'm just going to say this because I know there was big talk yesterday on CNN all day about if Trump's reelected, it's going to lead. Liz Cheney's been out there saying this. It's going to lead to a dictatorship, authoritarian. But here's the thing, though. Before going back to 2016, when people didn't even know if Trump was conservative, independent, or Democrat, and he ran and he won, he hold on. No, he's a brand. Donald Trump is a brand. And right. And But my point is, he came in and he took on the Republican Party, the Bushes, the establishment, and he kicked the you know what out of them, and he's kicked the you know what out of his opponents. He's kicked the he took on Hillary Clinton, the most powerful couple, Bill and Hillary Clinton. Let's be honest, in the Democrat or political world, took him on. And he fights, so he's not going to change. By the way, but he took on then he took on Washington, and so some people love it though. But again, you and I don't. I'm not going to. I'm not going to agree. I'm just trying to relay a lot of Trump supporters. Hold on. Let me just say this quickly. Let me just hold on. Let me get a right wing shot in here. A lot of Trump supporters think that everyone's been after Trump since day one. He's a threat to everyone. So they believe the Department of Justice, the raids, the trials, it's all witch hunt, the Russia collusion. They've been after Trump and they love the fact that Trump comes back fighting. And that's a lot of his supporters, and they're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to go anywhere. They're with Trump. And I don't know where it ends up. Well, yeah, but I know it's important. It's important to you, but no, it's important to you. But the perception is, I know, but Brad, we should all know the facts, but you know how people are. They make a decision. They look at the optics. There's 20 FBI codes raiding the guy's home in his sock drawers for documents that the Biden had documents, Pence had documents. Hold on. I know there's a difference. Hold on. I know there's a difference, but to a Trump supporter, that looks like they're after him and they're going after him. They're going after his businesses. Hold on. They're going after they're going after his businesses in New York. His kids are testifying. They want to take his business license away. They're after Trump. They've been after Trump the whole. That's how they view it. Hey, we have to run real quick. We're at Brad Card Live. Card and Associates will get you back again tomorrow. Make it a good Tuesday. Thanks, Brad. All right, we come back. Anna Brown, Citizens Count, citizenscount.org, and what to expect from her perspective. Also, some state stuff that's not making news. Back on the Pulse of an Age in a moment. All right, a look at some of the local stuff and national stuff combined. That's her forte. Anna Brown, Citizens Count, citizenscount.org. Wonderful, nonpartisan, bipartisan home for civic engagement, all things local, but beyond. Anna Brown, a good Tuesday morning. Where do you want to start, local or national? Mm-hmm. And yeah. Right. Right. You And Anna Brown, another national issue. I know some college, university presidents are testifying today on anti-Semitism on campus. I think before some of the committees in Washington. I think the president of Harvard University, but right here at home, Senate President Jeb Bradley last regular appearances on the show was talking about his concerns at UNH in terms of condemning one professor's positions regarding Israel and some anti-Semitism on campus there. And the Attorney General's office recently, I think, has expanded their investigators for hate crimes from 1 to like 4 or 5 investigators, which is a sad statement. But do you expect any legislation in and around that, or is it more inquiry stuff? With each isolated incident, which is sad to say, is probably on the rise versus diminishing. Right. All right. Anna Brown, thank you very much. Anna Brown, Citizens Count, citizenscount.org. Thank you, Anna. All right. Top of the 10 o'clock, we'll get a Seacoast perspective. Alicia Preston Xanthopoulos will be joining us, and also Aaron Rial, NBC News Radio national correspondent, on deck in the 10 o'clock hour. Hey, Google. Hey, Alexa, play The Pulse of NH. Many of you are streaming by the thousands in the first hour or so, or 2 hour of the show nationally on The Pulse of NH, worldwide as well. And, of course, our network of news talk stations. Aaron Rial is going to talk about money and where it went during all the COVID stuff. And by the way, don't you, the only way I can say it is, don't you love it, because it's frustrating. So I have to kind of not let my stress levels rise. But big surprise, there are more studies coming out about young public students who developmentally got really hurt with the remote learning policies that went on so long and too long, like emotionally, physically, academically, way behind. And you could see it. And I spoke about it at the time, and yet it continued about, I think in some cases, a year too long. And where's the apology, by the way? Because people knew at the time it was crap. We didn't have to be doing it. The kids were safe to go back to school. So what were the politics behind that? Who kind of kept that remote learning going so long? What were the administrators? Who was influenced? Who's lobbying that decision? It certainly wasn't parents and students. They were crying to go back to physical in-person learning. All right, coming back on Good Morning New Hampshire, the Pulse of NH. J-Dog on the board, Jack Heath, not a bad looking Tuesday. Back in a flash.